This is Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we're joined again by Felipe Fuentes. He is a member of the Los Angeles City Council. Sir, no doubt when you look at housing throughout the city, there's a crunch. And then you'll go to some apartment buildings, and one unit looks a little different than the other ones, and you're thinking, what happened here? What happened there?
Well, what happened is that we have a housing crisis in Los Angeles, and we have to preserve every housing unit possible. And what we're finding out and have for the last year is that there are a lot of units that are not permitted, but they're safe, but they're not permitted. So we're trying to fix that.
So explain how and what that looks like, because my sense is if you find out you have an unpermitted unit, you don't want anyone to know, you don't tell anyone, the government gets involved, you're in trouble. But I understand you're looking to create a solution which is really a win-win for all parties involved.
Well, what we found out is we worked with housing rights groups, we worked with landowners, apartment owners, and everybody wants a solution to this because nobody wants to worry about these units, especially since the Los Angeles City Housing Department goes and systematically checks on all of these units. So it's a matter of time before we find out if you've got a legal unit or not. So the last year we spent working on a policy. We're going to pass an ordinance this month that permits those units in exchange for the affordability status.
So explain what that looks like, because as I understand it, there had been rules and regulations which would allow conversion to legality, but the time frame was just too tight. And so you're looking to create a scenario whereby the time frame works for all parties, safety's still a concern and still addressed.
So today Brad has an apartment building, non-conforming unit. We find out about it because we're going to check on every single unit in the city of Los Angeles. We only give you 30 days to fix it. It's not enough to fix it.
I see.
From a zoning perspective. So this ordinance creates a checklist basically that moves along that process a little bit faster, a little bit less expensively in exchange for a new designated unit that's affordable.
And what does that mean, affordable? When I think affordable, I think Section 8, I think redevelopment, but there are lots of different terms.
So the city of Los Angeles largely follows the federal guidelines. So the level of affordability could be moderate to low, low to very low. And so we haven't figured all of that out yet, but this ordinance is going to create a scale by which we can go ahead and say, give us an affordable unit. And in Los Angeles, any affordability is welcome.
And it doesn't have to be that unit, meaning the prior non-conforming unit. It could be any of the units in the complex. Is that correct?
That's correct. And we're adding a lot of flexibility here because the underlying thing that we all want to do, both tenants and landowners, is that we want to get these legal units in line so that they're safe and they're affordable and that they don't present any problems to anybody.
Under the prior regime, I presume if there was a 30-day window, people were getting evicted pretty quickly. I mean, no one could get it ready in 30 days. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So we know that today we've got about 5,000 units in the entire city of Los Angeles that are quote-unquote illegal.
Right.
And so that's 5,000 units less if we were to evict folks.
I want to ask about the, well, maybe we'll call them ancillary units in a home. You know, it's like a back house, it's a upstairs, it's a garage. Well, is this ordinance contemplating those types of units?
So this only addresses multifamily apartment buildings. That's the first tranche that we're working on. The next is one that's near and dear to my heart. In my district, I have got so many converted garages, and that's a little bit tougher because if we just went and cited folks, which we currently can do today, people need the money to remediate the problem, to make sure that there's a life safety, everything is habitable. And that's going to be a little bit tougher, but we're working on that now.
What does that look like? Because that really becomes a monster issue.
It is a huge issue in Los Angeles. There's state law that says that you can have these accessory dwelling units, otherwise known as granny flats. The challenge is, how do we put an ordinance in place that massages what the state allows and so it fits in communities? They're there now, so we're going to have to figure out how to do it.
He is Felipe Fuentes, member of the LA City Council. I'm Brad Pomerance.